What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel as you tune in and check out the content, man. And with that being said, man, I just recently I was listening to a podcast that Dame Dash was on, man. And Dame Dash, he he said a lot of things about Jay Z that I think not only Jay Z, but I think that anybody who is basically a sellout, they really need to listen to this, man, because because people think that all right, once you sell out, that like it gets easier for you. You sell out, and then basically, you in the clear, but everybody else who you have misled and taken advantage of in the name of the dark forces, like you get to live a easy life, right? You get to walk off into the sunset, but it don't work like that. If you look at everybody who people think that have sold out, you look at somebody like Jay-Z who been talking about retiring since the early 2000s, and now he's back out there. He's on stage and he's working, and they talking about he's got an album coming out and all this other stuff, right? Then we look at somebody like Stephen A. Smith, who is he is on almost every sports show, year round. They just working him. They just working him, till death, right? Then people talk about LeBron James. He's in his 23rd year, going on his 24th year, and everybody's saying, well, he can't retire and all this other stuff, right? And so the one connection with all these guys is people call all these guys sellouts. And if you're somebody who's a sellout, then what's the benefit to selling out if you can never walk right off into the sunset with the money you earn? You can never retire or anything like that, right? You just constantly working and working, and it seems like these guys are gonna be, they basically working themselves to death. So I was listening to, like I said, Dame Dash was talking, and what I want to do is I want to play the audio and just just play the audio. But he says something on here at about the 3 minute mark. I'm not sure if I'm gonna skip over because he said a lot of things on here that I think that people should listen to and pay attention to. And so here we go.
But if someone is accused of being the devil, like Jay-Z, and I just said your name, I'm calling you out, say something. That's not talking about somebody. I'm talking to you in front of everybody. I'm punking you. So what I'm saying is, if Jay's been accused of stuff, but automatically every time you could clip it up and go back, he always jumps out and fixes it. He's a fixer, allegedly, just based on what I see. Just look at it. Why is it every time, down to that stupid rap, everything he says, I'm sure, I want to see how he's going to clean up Jay trying to sell Reasonable Doubt in Target and getting boycotted. Like, why wouldn't you do that? So when I put out Black Rock, pause, and by the way...
Let me break down that story for him, Dame, for the people who might not know. So Jay-Z is re-releasing Reasonable Doubt.
Now that I don't own any of it.
Now that you don't own it. And I believe it's a 30-year anniversary, and he's going to put it in Target. Now, he's getting backlash because recently Target pulled back their DEI programs.
That means there were programs where they gave real estate to Black people, no matter what. When Trump got in office, certain people were allowed to say, we don't have to hire no more. And he's back with them. It's the same thing with the Barkley. Y'all thought he owned it, but he just, allegedly made it okay for everyone to kick Brooklyn native Black people out. And then he just walked away. Let me ask you, when do you get to walk away from a team without selling your equity in it? How does that just happen? No one even wonders. And now they got everybody looking at the NFL, so they let him walk across. He walks across the field like an owner, and he owns nothing. He's the best probably the lowest paid employee out there, but because they let him pretend it's his, he acts like it is his.
So, all right. So, and you hear the things that he's saying about Jay-Z, right? But keep this in mind, right? Because a lot of what he's saying, LeBron James says that Jay-Z is he looks up to Jay-Z, right? Almost like a mentor, right? And so he said he don't never want to let Jay-Z down. And a lot of the business practices that Jay-Z have, you find those same business practices and those same basic philosophies, you find those in LeBron James, right? And so when and that's just to let you know that like LeBron James really don't have any control. He's not running things, just like Jay-Z is not running things. But the most important thing I want to get to is, let me see, I'm gonna try to see if I can speed this up to about the 3-minute mark. Okay, here we go. It's closer to, because the most important thing he says, like, what's the purpose of selling out if you don't get to retire? And that's so important, right? Because everybody, that's what people basically been saying about Jay-Z and LeBron James. Like they're not going to be able to retire for all this work that they put in. There's no, I mean, they just going, I don't know what the end is going to be like, how they going to, work them until they faint or fall out or something like this, but there's just no retirement. So, all right, let me play some more of this.
So I challenge you to a debate. I challenge you to a versus. I challenge you to take that stupid ass wig off. I challenge you to chew some double McGump. I challenge you to stop robbing artists. Now I gotta come back outside because everyone's broke because of you. Because you just gave everyone, you gave them our culture, and now everyone is sweating. But you are too. So you sold us out, and you still gotta work. Was it worth it?
All right, so you hear right what he said right there about Jay-Z, right? You still have to work. There's no riding off into the sunset. There's no the generational wealth and all this other stuff. It's just that these guys, if you look at the guys who people are accused or alleged of being sellouts, they're working. They're working. It's just like this something that they cannot get around. They're going to be working, I don't know, until the end of time, basically, it seems like, because they can't get around it. And I think for that same reason, like LeBron James is no different than Jay-Z, no different than Stephen A. Smith. You see Stephen A. Smith, like I said before, Stephen A. Smith is on every sports show. You know what I mean? He'll do the morning show, then he'll go and do somebody else show in the afternoon. Then if there's any games that evening, he'll be commentating on the games. No end in sight. And you have LeBron James is going on 24 years in the league. Like who wants to, even if you love basketball, right? Who wants to play and be dedicated to a sport for 24 years? If you worked in a factory or if you were a lawyer, after a while, even if you love what you do, you still want to be able to step away from it and do something else. And when you have the kind of wealth that these guys have and still can't afford to do anything else, that's very telling. That means that somebody don't want you to do anything else. If you sign a $20 million contract or $120 million contract and you can't do anything else other than what they want you to do, then that money is not freedom. That money is is like a chain, and it's like a chain and a ball, and it's got you tied into what they want to have you tied into. No way Stephen A. Smith can say, you know what? I'm gonna take this $120 million. I'm gonna take some of it, and I'm gonna open me a car rental, or I'm gonna start a restaurant. They're not gonna allow him to do that. Same thing with LeBron James. All this money, he's a billionaire. But as soon as he he want to step away from basketball and try to do something else, that money is no good. It's no good. Jay-Z, he's scrambling to find, you know, different businesses to go into, but the doors are closed to them as far as, like, you know, anything else except for what they, you know, that what their purpose is. You are a rapper, you're gonna rap. You're a basketball player, you know you're going to play basketball. You are a sports commentator, and that's what you do. You do that until they, you know, they have no more use for you. And so that one statement that Dame Dash made, that you can't retire, you know, you got to go back to work. You sell out everybody else, you know, you rob everybody else, thinking that it's going to clear a path for you. And you know, now you have to work just like everybody else. People starting over, and you don't ever get to end. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm gonna check y'all out in the next video. Peace.